Hey YouTube, welcome to the channel. My name's Minhoodie, and if you're here today watching this video, you've probably heard the news that our boy Jinbe has been banned from the game. Starting April 1st, Jinbe will no longer be playable. Us Doffy players around here are probably scavenging and trying to figure out exactly what to do with those extra 4 slots that we have in our very tight list. So I'm here today to talk to you guys about my potential options. There's going to be some pretty obvious answers and some that might tech a little bit better depending on your playstyle. So I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about why this would be good to play versus not, versus what kind of playstyle it might play around. So remember, this video is specifically for our leader, one of the worst characters in the show, Doflamingo. Anyways, let's get started. Take a look at what I have here. So we're going to separate them up into our smaller bodies that I would say are pretty playable. We have 2 events, mid to high range bodies, and then our big bodies. So let's start off with our lower range and see what to do. So our biggest and easiest replacement for Jinbe would probably be the 4 cost 6k Gecko Moria. This is simply because it's a 6k body, and the reason why it wasn't really played often is because there's just no on play. It's pretty much the same stats as what Doffy wants, but there was no benefit to playing it because there was no on play. So now there may be a space for it to run like 2 or 3 of these in replacement of Jinbe, as well as 2 other cards, just to get that extra 6k body. And that's probably the most easiest answer that keeps the consistency of Doflamingo. Gecko Moria 4 cost 6k is probably one of your better options of what you want to replace Jinbe with, and I would highly recommend this as an option. 3 drop blocker Doflamingo. This one is a great one that was played a lot in OP07 before the starter decks came out. This is pretty much a blocker. Once you play it, you can search your top 5 and rearrange how you want, place it at the top or bottom in any order. Now, this is a great card, but the reason why it wasn't strong is because of things like Lucci and other black decks, because it's so easily removed because it's a 3 cost. As well as it being a 4k power, it can obviously be popped by Red Hawk by Shanks for free. So this may not be the best option, but being able to add an extra searcher as well as a blocker might be something you might be interested in, as well as being a 1k counter. So it is a good alternative depending on the matchups. I don't necessarily think I would be running this, but it is an option, and if I do, maybe I'll run a 2 of, as well as like a 2 of for the 4k or the 4 cost 6k Gecko. My next option is running Red Rock. I'm very highly leaning towards running Red Rock simply because Black got nerfed so much. There's no more Ice Age, no more Raigo. There's gonna be a lot of people running bigger bodies because there's less answers to the bigger bodies. So running a Red Rock might be very strong with the ban list, simply because knowing a lot of people are gonna run a lot more big bodies, this can help you answer things. And it's still good into things like Blackbeard, where you can bottom deck the 10 cost Teach, 10 cost Shanks, Eustace Kid, and all of those really big bodies. Like, you didn't want to use a slot in your deck to, add a brick. Now might be the time for that. It's also good to trigger in the mirror. Red Rock is a really good option, and I may actually run a 2 of Red Rock because I am scared of the big bodies coming my way. Now let's jump into the mid to high range bodies and talk about them in ways where they're useful and situations where they're useful and not. First, we have the 6 cost 8k Boa Hancock. On play, prevents someone from attacking next turn and bottom decks a 1 cost. Now, I really do love this card, but it can be gravity bladed in the mirror. Not many 1-drops are being played. There's Lafitte and Blackbeard, but you probably won't have on plays for that anyways. And that's pretty much it. Great card, just not really good in the meta at the moment. 6 cost Boa, probably not the best option right now, so let's just move on from there. The new OP10 Kyros for 7 Dawn, it's a 9k body and bounces a 5 cost from the board to hand. Pretty decent, but it may just end up being better to run a 7 cost Doffy, but it really depends on what you think is going to be run in the meta recently. Kyros is really good because he has 2k more power. The 7-9 is absolutely insane, but only bounces a 5. But honestly, I feel like bouncing a 5 is very strong because it hits most blockers like Eustace Kid purple, as well as Sabo blocker in black. Very, very good card. Bounces a 5, and it really depends if you think you're going to end up needing to bounce things like Jozu or whatnot. That might be better with a 7 Doflamingo, but you are going to be missing out on 2k power. So it's really an option of, do you want the 2k power with the 2 less cost? That's a preference, I would say. So I personally like Kyros. Kyros, I love the stronger swing and less counter commitment when I have to defend him. So I may consider running Kyros, maybe like a 2 of also. But pretty much 7 Doffy and Kyros are pretty much the same thing, just Doffy bounces a 7, not a 5. And then we have the Borsalino, which probably is the very, very worst option of these two, except the best part is that it bottom decks. So if you're playing against decks that give you on plays, or if maybe Blackbeard forgets to cancel your on plays, you can bottom deck Burgess by just playing Borsalino. The 7 drop 8k that bottom decks a 4 cost. There's a lot of really good 4 costs in today's play, like Zorojuro, Nami Blocker, Bond Clay, lots of different 4 drops. Even in the mirror, it's a really good card to bottom deck things and establish a body. So also an option, but probably not a very popular option. Now we're gonna go on to our bigger bodies, and this is going to be very, very important because again, with the ban list, Ice Age being banned and Raigo being banned means that there are less answers for people like NL, Lucci, Smoker, and Gecko Moria to answer your bigger bodies, which means that there are lots of rooms for bigger bodies. However, the downside of having these bodies means that you're going to be down on counter because those potential slots where you can have 4 2Ks or 2 2Ks and 2 1Ks or even just 4 1Ks are gone with bricks. So the chances of you bricking up are a lot higher, so you may want to end up running a 0 cost event. But let's go through what we have here. 9 drop 9k Mihawk places a character with a cost of 7 or less to the bottom of the owner's deck. So you can bottom a 7, which is so strong. And let's talk about the potential combo. If you run 2 Sanji and 2 Mihawk, you can play this Sanji to play Mihawk out of the top of your deck and then just kind of synchronize that together, 2 9 drop bodies in 1 turn while bottom decking. That's kind of busted, and it used to be run, and maybe we can bring it back now that we don't have Jinbei. We just take up those slots.
One more thing I'd like to add is that if you have Teach established on board already and you play the Sanji Mihawk combo, you're still able to get a body out off of Teach, which is absolutely insane because now you can do 3 bodies in 1 turn on 9 Dawn. Just something to add.
Or we can start running some 10 drop Kaidos that allow us to have some draw power, where if your opponent has 3 or less life cards on play, draw 4 cards. This is also an amazing body because it is a 12k body and establishes a very strong board presence that increases your board to very tall, meaning you are intimidating to a lot of decks like NL, Shanks, or even other things that don't really run too many big bodies. So having this is very nice, but again, it is a brick. But I am considering running more big bodies. I think I might try the double Sanji, double Mihawk just to kind of establish bigger bodies in Doflamingo to make it strong again against NL, because back in OPO 7 and OPO 8, NL was not as strong into Doffy because we were running a lot more bigger bodies. We were running like 3 Kaidos and then 6 Boa. So it was very strong at the time. But once we took all those out, everything was poppable and we didn't really have any big bodies to match against NL. So now that we have those and we can bring them back now without feeling too bad about using up slots because Jinbei is gone, we do have that option. So personally, for me, my options I would say are either 2 and 2 of Sanji Mihawk, 2 Red Rock, and probably 2 Gecko Moria 4 cost 6Ks, or 2 Kaido, 2 Kaido, 1 Red Rock, 1 something else. I don't know. It's a lot to go through, and I just gotta do some play testing. Like, I really gotta try to figure out what the meta, because right now Shanks is gonna be really strong, and it's gonna be our biggest problem as Doffy probably, where we have to really focus on getting them down quick, even though we can't flood as fast because now we don't have Jinbei. But I would say those are the best alternatives. You could run more puddings, you could up more 2Ks, but those are your really only options, I would say. If you guys have any other like ideas of what you could potentially run in Doflamingo, and don't say pure B Luffy, I tried it. The one where it's a 4 cost, trash 2 cards from hand and bottom deck. Combo that with Red Rock, you can bottom 2 bodies in 1 turn. But besides that, let me know in the comments what you guys think are some good alternatives. Let's do a quick little theory testing on the bans, right? And this is spoiler alert, so if anybody hasn't watched One Piece fully, maybe don't continue the rest of this video because, but that's gonna be all for today's video. I just wanted to throw my theory out here for you guys. One Piece card game follows lore, like how Buggy is a rare and not a SR simply because of the character who he is. And with the bans, we got Law banned, and you know what happened to Law after Egghead. And then we have what happened to Annie's Lobby. You know, those both got banned. And then Gecko Moria just like showed up, and then now he's useless and he's presumed dead. And then now Jinbei's banned. I'm just trying to like assume, like, what if Jinbei dies? Like, I think Jinbei, if one of the Straw Hats were to die, and I think that there's going to be one that dies, I think it's gonna be Jinbei. And everybody's gonna be like, oh no, it's probably gonna be Usopp because Usopp is like, you know, Usopp. But what if Jinbei dies because he protects Usopp? Like, Usopp was going to die, but Jinbei took the hit for him, and then he dies, and now Usopp's gonna be like really like screwed up, and then that's what kind of awakens Usopp to be a stronger person. I don't know, just a theory. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And again, let me know what you guys think of the alternatives, or if you guys have your own alternatives to the deck, let me know. See you guys in the next video. Have an awesome day. Peace.